What's up, everyone? Welcome to podcast number 2. Make sure to leave a like right here. And first, we'll be predicting the first round of the Eastern Conference NHL playoffs. So, Ryan, you start.
Yeah, so I got the number 8 Maple Leafs beating the number 9 Blue Jackets. Leaves in 4. I think Austin Matthews versus Cam Atkinson will be a good series to watch. But ultimately, I got Matthews coming out on top.
I also got the Leafs in 4. The three-headed monster and Mitch Marner, Tavares, and Austin Matthews there. A little shaky there in that with Anderson, but I think they ultimately get the job done in 4.
I also got Leafs in 4. I know the Blue Jackets have a beast in goaltender with Elvis, but I just think the Blue Jackets offensively won't be able to keep up with the Leafs and that stacked offense they got in Toronto.
Yeah. Next, I got the number 5 Penguins beating the number 12 Canadians. I got Penguins in 4. Could go 3. I think the Penguins, they have the experience. They got the talent. They got the goalies. I just got the Penguins.
I mean, what was there to say here? I got the Penguins in 3, okay? I mean, Crosby, Malkin, that's 3 rings right there. You know, the question is who's in net, Murray or Jari, but ultimately they get the job done here in 3.
I think Carey Price will shut him out maybe 1 game, but
Yeah.
other than that, he can't withstand 5
He
games.
could steal the series, though.
Jake Guentzel could be back for that
Yes, he
series.
could be back.
I'm going to go with Pens in 5. I think Carey Price is going to have to play the series of his life. That's why I think he's going to make the Pens go all the way to Game 5. Hopefully Guentzel can be back, but I don't know if Mike Sullivan's going to put Jari or Murray in that. I'd preferably put Murray in that because he's got that playoff experience. It's 2 Stanley Cups, and yeah, I got Pens in 5. But I am afraid that Carey Price can steal the series. That's the one thing I'm scared of.
Yeah. So next we got Islanders and Panthers. I got the Panthers in 5. I think Coach Q, coming from Chicago, obviously the dynasty there, miss you, but yeah, he knows how to lead a team.
I also got the Islanders in 5. I got the Panthers in 5 here. Coach Q, playoff experience there. I think he'll lead the way there, and I got the Panthers in 5.
I got the Islanders in 4. The Islanders swept the season series 3-0. I know the Panthers got Sergei Bobrovsky. He's a beast in goal. But, I mean, this is going to be a stacked with these 2 coaches. Their resumes are unbelievable with Barry Trotz and Coach Q. But yeah, I just think the Islanders are like 2 good teams. They play too well together, and I think that the Islanders are got it in 4.
Next we got Hurricanes and Rangers. One of my bold predictions, I got Rangers in 3, actually. I just think, even though Henrik Lundqvist might not be starting, I think Artemi Panarin and Zibanejad, I think their offenses, especially second half of the season, they've been doing really well. The Hurricanes, I just don't really see it with them this year, so that's one of my bold predictions, but honestly, it could go either way.
I also got the Rangers, but in 5, the Breadman, Panarin. I think he's going to go off this series, and I ultimately got him in 5.
I also have the Rangers in 5, so we're all going with the upset here.
Yeah.
We got a clean sweep. You know, the Rangers, they were rumored to trade Chris Kreider at the trade deadline. They hung on to him, gave him a 7-year contract, and they were going for the playoffs, and they ended up making the playoffs. But Hurricanes, they got Williams, Mr. Game 7. But I just think the Breadman's, he's popping off. He leaded this team all year. He's just too good. He could have been MVP if this year went fully. He was a beast this year, so I got to go Rangers in 5, and they're going to steal this one.
Now joining us, special guest, golf expert, Danny Sheedy.
Yo!
Thanks for coming on, Danny.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining the show, Danny.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So first we're going to talk about what the NBA did. They made a plan about 22 teams in Orlando, Florida, the Walt Disney World Resort. They're going to have 13 Western Conference teams and 9 Eastern Conference teams. They will play 8 regular season games to determine the top 16 teams that will get in the playoffs. What do you guys think about that?
It's just kind of sad. It just shows you teams like who are 22 and like 40, like the Suns, that they get a playoff spot. But just me, I don't know.
I think more teams get a shot at the championships, more basketball.
Yeah, I think it's great. They have a plan to return. We need sports back, and they have a plan with a set date, and I think it's great. I don't
think
care how
it's-
many teams there are.
I think it's kind of stupid that teams way below 500 are going to get into
Yeah.
this thing. But that's what the NBA is today, so just got to deal with it.
Yep.
So there's rumors that Emu Udoka is a front runner to become the Bulls head coach and replace Boylan, and he hasn't even been fired yet. So that just shows what the Bulls' plans are, and yeah. You guys think about that?
Still dysfunctional organization. It's just kind of embarrassing.
At least we cleaned out the front office a bit and got new GM. Yeah, that's progress. But still, you got to put it on the court.
We're still going to
at the
get
end
the
of the day.
7th pick in the lottery. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
Well, I got nothing. It's the Bulls.
Yeah. Ever since MJ, it's been probably the most dysfunctional organizations in all the
sports.
NBA. You can exclude the D Rose era right there, but he got hurt, so
The most dysfunctional is probably the Knicks, and the Bulls are right behind them.
Yeah.
yeah. So latest on MLB, this will be a weekly thing for the next year or so, probably. So Ken Rosenthal wrote that the only option might be 60 games at this point. The owners, the players, they're just not agreeing on anything. It's just really hard negotiations right now. The pay cut, just really bad right now for the MLB. I don't think there might be a season this year.
Time's a ticking. We got to
Yeah.
get this together. I want baseball.
It's going to be pretty embarrassing if all the sports come back. They're the only one missing out. That'll be really embarrassing.
Yeah, that's going to suck.
Yeah, as time goes on, it's looking less and less likely like there's going to be a Major League Baseball season.
Yep.
It's pretty disappointing considering that I'm a White Sox fan. It's about to be our time, but we'll have to wait.
Again.
Yep. Just everyone just sit down in prayer every night for the MLB to come back, and hopefully it comes back. So now we'll be going over the NFC North offseason and giving grades. Again, we'll do this every week, so there will be a new division next week. So what do you think about the Lions?
Yeah, so in their draft, they did pretty good, especially with their first 2 picks. They got cornerback Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. I'm really high on him. I think he'll do good in that defense who's been struggling. I mean, it's the Lions, so they're always struggling. But then they also got running back DeAndre Swift from Georgia. So overall, I'd probably give their first 2 picks probably about a B+ combined. And then a couple key offseason moves. They got Desmond Trufant, in free agent. He's a cornerback, as well as Jaron Kearse, who's a safety since they lost Darius Slay, so they picked up Trufant. So, I mean, we'll see what they can do this year with the Lions.
Mm-hmm. They're the Lions. They always suck, so just move on.
So the Vikings offseason was okay. They extended Kirk Cousins, and they finally traded away Diggs. It was rumored for a while that he was going to go away. But with that, they got Justin Jefferson. He's a great wide receiver from LSU, and I think he'll replace him very nicely in Minnesota.
All right, you want to know the Bears?
So with the Bears didn't have a first-round pick, so with their first pick at number 43, I believe, they picked tight end Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame, and then with the next one, number 51, they picked Jalen Johnson, which is a corner from Utah, I believe. The Cole Kmet pick, it was interesting because I think he could have been there at 51, and at 43, they could have probably went with a bigger need, maybe Antoine Winfield at safety from Minnesota. It was also interesting because they signed Jimmy Graham for 2 years, and for 2 years, I think $16 million, so $8 million a year. He's washed up. I didn't really get that, especially when they're gonna go with Cole Kmet, which it seemed like they had been planning on the whole time. They also traded for Nick Foles, which the Bears, they really needed a quarterback, but Cam Newton was available. There's still questions about his health. He's still out there. He doesn't have a job, but I think it was good that they went out to pick up a quarterback, and then they also signed Robert Quinn to free agency. I really like that, to put him on the other side of Mack. You also have Hicks in the middle there, so I think the defense is probably going to be super strong for the next year, but the offense, it's probably still going to be hard to watch.
Yeah, you gotta feel bad for Allen Robinson in that offense. Just going through quarterback after
I
quarterback.
believe Allen Robinson had a
He had a pretty
just a
good
solid
year.
quarterback. He'd be
Yeah.
a top 5 receiver.
And he's been with Blake Bortles, Trubisky, and now Nick Foles. So I'm sorry if you're listening. So finally, we got the Packers. Just a terrible offseason. Just terrible. They signed Devin Funchess. That's not going to solve their problem, so I don't know what they're thinking there. And then they draft Jordan Love. I don't know if the owner or the GM wasn't watching that 49er game, but the Jordan Love pick is not going to help them win now. You can't waste Aaron Rodgers' prime years. I think they disrespected Aaron Rodgers this offseason with the moves they made. In his career, he's only thrown 1 touchdown to a first-round receiver. That's just embarrassing. And then the second pick, they drafted A.J. Dillon, running back from Boston College. I don't think that was a need either. That's not going to help them beat the 49ers. They just got killed on defense. That defensive line for the Packers just got killed against the 49ers. Mostert had like 3 touchdowns against them, I think. And with that running back pick, they got Aaron Jones, who had a career season. So I don't know what they're thinking there in Green Bay. So I'm going to have to give them an F overall. Just terrible offseason.
Yeah, that NFC Championship game was tough to watch for sure.
I turned it off at halftime.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now it's time for bold predictions for the NFL. First, my bold prediction is Tua will lead the Dolphins to the playoffs. I think this is going to happen because I think their defense improved this offseason. They signed Kyle Van Noy and Byron Jones. It's going to take pressure off of Tua for him to get the offense going and not for him not to win games. I feel like the defense can win games this year. And Devontae Parker started to come on the scene last year. I think he's going to be a top 10 receiver this year. And that's pretty bold. But yeah, I got Dolphins making the playoffs.
My bold prediction is the whole NFC West makes the playoffs. So 49ers, pretty much a lock. Seahawks, they still got a great team. It's not easy going in Seattle and playing. Cardinals, I think Kyler Murray he's going to have a good sophomore season with DeAndre Hopkins. I know Larry Fitzgerald's old, but I mean he can still get you maybe a few receptions. And then what makes us bold is the Rams. They had a terrible offseason. They didn't really do much, but they still got a great division. So that's what I think.
My bold prediction is that the Cardinals make the playoffs. I really like Kyler Murray, what I saw last year from him. They also pick up DeAndre Hopkins, but they lose David Johnson, but kind of had trouble staying healthy there.
Got Kenyon Drake.
And they also have Kenyon Drake, who was going off at the end of last year. So Cardinals make the playoffs.
I think Tyrod Taylor, he's going to surprise people. I don't think he's as bad as people think, and I think he's going to beat out Herbert for the entire season. I don't think Herbert's going to start a single game unless there's an injury. Now, that doesn't mean that the Chargers are going to be good. They still have a really tough division with some pretty good teams: Chiefs, Broncos,
Raiders.
Okay, and so I got Tyrod Taylor having a pretty good year.
Now our special guest Danny will be answering rapid fire questions. When he wanted to join the show, he demanded rapid fire questions. So let's go. First, we're going MLB. Game 7 World Series. Pick a current pitcher that you want on the mound.
Garrett Cole.
Rather punch Altuve or Correa?
Altuve.
Who's the king of New York, DeGrom or Cole?
Cole.
Who's your surprise team this year?
White Sox.
Of course. Who wins the NL Central?
The Reds.
Okay. All right, so I'll be asking
some unpopular opinions.
So I'll be asking you NFL questions now. Best rookie wide receiver.
Lamb.
Rookie of the year, offensive and defensive. Start with offensive.
Offensive, Jonathan Taylor. Defensive, I'm gonna have to go with Chase Young.
What guy?
Saints or Bucks?
Saints.
First overall pick in fantasy.
Christian McCaffrey.
How many more years does Rodgers have in Green Bay?
I'll give him 2.
All right.